Well, hello again. Words. Well, hello again. We are back at Tony's house with the MEEP with some new wheel bearings today. I am attempting to do the driver's side wheel bearing tonight because Tony's actually on his way home right now. So hopefully I get the driver's side wheel bearing done tonight. Bleed the clutch. Last video, I'll just say, I said bleed the clutch like 100 times. I'm sorry for those of you that watched it and got really annoyed by bleeding the clutch. But hopefully we get that done tonight and start it because I could do the passenger side wheel bearing later. That's not a big deal. Driver's side one's right there by the clutch, so get that did, put a battery in it, find our leaks, and hopefully it starts. If not, we're gonna figure out why. So stay tuned for more. And remember, there are such things called impact rated sockets, but you know, if you got snap-on, silver works just fine, or at least a chrome socket, if you will. There we go. Also, found out this wheel's also bent now, so that makes what, 3 bent wheels on the car? So guess we're changing wheels before No Name Nationals. And that shock doesn't look, or strut look very good, but it'll hold. Get this wheel off, get the nut back off here, and see how much room it gives us on the inside of the hub to get the 3 or 4 bolts out that we need. Well, good news, that lock pin came out no problem for us. I think Team Punchraff might have changed the wheel bearings on this car before. But yeah, I get tire on it, this thing just shakes in and out. But whoever said PVC pipe can't build anything cool has never had one of these. Tony's got a couple carts made out of PVC pipe, and I can tell you right now, these are fantastic things to have around the shop. So if I ever get a shop with, you know, a paved floor, I'm going to make some of these up because they're really nice to have the shelves. You can stack your stuff in there, and you know, I just got all my stuff sitting there, tools and bolts and hardware. I got to figure out how this comes off. I think these are got 1 bolt here, 1 bolt there. They look like 17s or 19s, so we'll get those popped loose, and then Tony's got some cool hooks to hook in the rotor. We'll stick it up on top of the caliper thing up there hanging off the strut, and be able to get to the wheel bearing bolts, which are right there. So yeah. All right, so the wheel bearing hub is now unbolted from the backside. Turns out there was 4 13 millimeter bolts down here, and there was 2, I think they were 15 millimeter, 15 millimeter bolts that held the brake caliper onto there, which is now hanging from there. I'm gonna go grab a hammer and see if I can get this thing broke free off of here. Like I said, I think these were replaced shortly before I got the car. But in my up north video, I got about 2 foot of air, maybe 1.5 foot with the car, so probably wasn't very good because she's got some flex. That's not good. So get this guy knocked off, clean up around here, slap this new bearing on, and put the side back together. All right, good news. Got this side all back together. I'm gonna throw the tire back on, got the nut snugged back up. I'm not sure the torque's back on it. This car does have to go in for an alignment, so when it's in, I will ask my buddy whose shop I'm taking it to for the alignment to make sure the torque spec or what the torque spec is on this so I can do that myself. So I am going to throw the tire back on, move all my stuff to the other side, try to bang out that wheel bearing because I got this one done in about 15 minutes, and I'm gonna see if I can get this done before Tony comes down because he actually just got home. Well, 30 minutes later, both wheel bearings are done, and Tony's here. He brought pizza, and we got his toolbox in his truck. So we're gonna pretend like we know what we're doing. No, I don't know anything, but All right, so a lot of boringness. Clutches, we think bled. We have fluid everywhere on the floor. We accidentally popped the line that's underneath this, so I took the battery box back out, connect the line. I'm gonna loosen the bleeder thing here, add some water to it, put the battery in, and see what happens.
Kablooey!
Thanks, Tony, for the vote of confidence that the MEEP will explode.
Put oil on it?
Did I put oil in the car, Tony?
Yeah, did you?
No, I actually didn't. It's got 4 quarts, not 5.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping me. All right. All right. Ugh. We have power. We have a clutch pedal-ish.
I feel wrong. That's a good sign.
It's alive! I wonder what kind of oil pressure we have. Well, we actually have a gauge. 80 pounds of oil pressure. Huh. Cool. All right, well, good news. The car runs. We're sucking water through. The cooling fan, however, is out. That's hot still. So the cooling fan on the donor core support is locked up. So I have to take all these stuff loose again, pull it off, switch the cooling fan out with the one from the bad core support, and let it just burp out overnight, I guess, because I'm out of time. Mrs. Hubert's gonna yell at me. But the good thing is the bleeder will hit you with scalding hot water, though. And we also think that the tensioner is bad on the accessory drive, which wouldn't doubt it. It's got 230,000 miles on it. The other one, where is the other one? That came with the new motor. Why didn't I use it again? Oh, yeah, so this one is smooth. Is that one ribbed for its pleasure? I guess I can always throw this one on later. Or just buy a new one. They're probably $12. So
It's taking water.
that's good.
So it's doing what it's supposed to do. That or it's going in the oil pan.
Is the dipstick taller than it was?
No, don't look like it.
It's probably sucked it finally in the filter, though.
Yeah.
So the car was running 80 pounds of oil pressure at cold, which I don't know what a Mini's supposed to run, but if that's true, that's phenomenal oil pressure. Or bad. Well, 27 minutes later, I got the 3 bolts out of that stupid thing because it's buried in here and you cannot get a ratchet in there. So, you know, half a turn at a time with a wrench to get all 3 bolts out. Now the fun part. Let's put the damn thing back in. Oh, yeah. Well, I got the core support off again. Had to take the entire front of the car apart to get to it. I got the accessory belt back on, which was not very fun. I really hope I do not have to change the water pump or the alternator, because I'm gonna have to take all this crap back off again just to get to it. Not my idea of fun. But there was 2 really long push pins, one there and one there, that held the radiator and fan in. So I'm gonna do the smart thing and use the one I know that's good on the car, or from the car. Just take the AC condenser off that's damaged and hook it back in here, set it back on the car, and then I gotta put the frame horns sorry, I wasn't pointing there, but the frame horn is here. That one is off because it kind of lips around that, as you would have seen in a previous video. I am very out of breath because it is hot in here. I'm not very smart to open the second door, but oh, come on. Victory. All right, that's off now. Okay, let's get that alternator or that radiator split from the condenser and in this core support, because I just want to get this back together tonight so I can go home. And then when I come back in a day or two, we'll get all that stuff on and it'll look like a Jeep again, and I can take it home, get the alignment done, get some transmission fluid, and take it for a proper test drive. Well, I retract my previous statement. That radiator that I thought was good that was on the car is damaged. So I reused that one and just switched to the cooling fans. Now it's sitting on the car, so now I can put the frame horns back on so that I can put the bumper back on, and then I can plug the coolant lines back in and re-add coolant to the car. And then I'll have to bleed it again when I'm out here. And don't worry, that's just really dirty water because it's mixed with the dirty water that was in the donor engine. So I'm gonna actually flush the system out with fresh water, just constantly putting it in to get it all cleaned out before I add fresh coolant to it. I don't wanna mix any colors around. I'll probably just be running the universal gold anyway, just cause you know, it mixes with any flavor of coolant. So I'll pick you guys up when I get this front end. Oops, that zoom. When I get the front end back on. Welcome back. I'm underneath the MEEP because me being me forgot to take a look at the plugs for the transmission, which are, well, buried. So the ratchet's up there on the fill plug. I'll try to get you guys in there if you can see. I could probably just turn the camera around. It's like I've done this. I've never done this before here. Hold on a second. Okay, so I was talking to Team Puntraff. Drew was having a heck of a fun time trying to get that drain plug up there out. Focus camera. So I was able to get the drain plug free because Tony is rich and has a nice flexible ratchet. So that is now free, so we can actually fill the transmission fluid. I'm usually pretty cheap about things, but these transmissions are not very cheap to come by or easy. That is, unless you want to do a 6-speed swap, and I've already, you know, put all the parts in for a 5-speed, so we're gonna leave it how it is. But it's $53 a liter for the transmission fluid. So yeah, luckily, here we go. Luckily, I'm struggling getting the socket off. We found fluid at the local mini dealer. It said $53 a liter. It's 2 liters in the system, but I don't want to put the wrong stuff in, burn the transmission up, and cause a problem. So I try to pick that up tomorrow, so that when it goes in for the alignment on Tuesday, well, I drop it off Tuesday, it gets done Wednesday, I can probably drive it up to the Gilmore Car Museum car show or car meet that night. If not, it'll be ready for the following week. So I have to go put some hose clamps on the rack and pinion pieces here. I'll show you. Gosh, I'm out of shape. That's why I'm breathing very heavily. And it's hot out here. So the rack and pinion, I gotta put a clamp here on this boot and on the inside. And same thing on the other side. The Mini has open exhaust, so it's pretty loud and broken connections, so we'll try to fix that this weekend when Tony is around with a welder, because I don't trust myself with welding. I already almost lit the car on fire with bug spray the other day. So lower it down, add coolant to it, and keep doing things. Okie dokie, we got, you can see it, shiny hose clamp there, holding that boot in. And this one's a little bit harder to see, but it's in there. Here's the shiny boot, or shiny clamp. So drain plugs have been loosened and tightened back up. I do need to now lower the car back down to the ground so I can fill up the water since I drained a lot of it out on the floor the other day. Try to rebleed the cooling system. While that's doing its thing, rebleeding, I'm hoping the fan works correctly since this is the fan from the core support. Oh, so this is the new core support, the new radiator. The old one was damaged. Cooling fan is from the one that got damaged up north. So hopefully I can get the front end back on the last time. Oh, there's Tony. Doing Tony things. Yep. Well, I got the front end back on the car, but I started it up to bleed the cooling system, and it was squealing like a mother trucker. I got a new tensioner on this thing yesterday, and it's got a brand new belt. Something's squealing, so I'm gonna take the belt off and see what is going on, because this is ridiculous. The only things that haven't changed are the water pump and the alternator, but both of them were fine before I blew the motor up, so why wouldn't they be fine now? So let's figure this out. Well, it turns out the new belt was too long, so that's why it was squealing like a pig. Oh, there we go. Oh, got to shorten the wire again for this headlight, which is normal. So, tried to bleed the old system out and move this thing out of my way. Well, small victory. The MEEP drove under its own power off the lift. I backed it up and pulled it over there where Tony's at. The clutch pedal is on the floor, but we have clutch, so that's good. Tomorrow, I'll have the fluid for the transmission. I'll get back out here Monday, throw some fluid in the transmission, top that off, and get it on my trailer to go in for its alignment on Wednesday. And somewhere in there, try to fix the exhaust. So, yay! All right, we are back at Tony's house. It is a week later, and I am struggling, because it's hot out here again, to get the lift underneath the car. There we go. But I got fluid for the transmission, which is awesome. It wasn't $53 a liter. I walked in, and it turns out I had a discount, so it was only $40 a liter, but still $90 for 2 liters of fuel for the transmission of the Mini. And my plan right now is to fill the fluid, or drain the old stuff out, add the new fluid with the little pump I have, and try to get the cooling system filled back up again so that I can drive this to the repair shop tonight to get the alignment done. So fingers crossed, we're gonna get this thing done. So I'll pick you guys up here in a second once I get the car up in the air. All right, once again, you can see my awesome skills on getting the Mini squared on the lift. So, it's staying in place. It's not going anywhere. So I got the oil from the transmission drained out of this plug here. There's another plug way up there. So I have to go get my little hand pumper thing to force fluid into it. Still kind of scared now because this coolant hose has got 0 coolant in it, even though I bled the cooling system before I pulled the radiator again. For some reason, it's still empty. Although I didn't have the top up there, there's a little screw thing on the engine to let the pressure out. So that probably is part of my problem, but I got this really cool bleeder set up I'm gonna show you guys once I get to that point. But I'm gonna go grab my pump thing to put fluid in. All right, so what we got here is the BMW MTF LT4 fluid, which I guess the car calls for LTF3, but this is the interchange to it according to the Mini dealer. Got this little tiny pump here that goes on. It's got this little hose that goes down in the fluid. Unfortunately, this hose is a little too short, but yet this one is too long. And normally you screw this top on, but this is a fine thread cap and this is coarse thread, so it won't go on. So it's gonna take 2 hands to hold it as compared to 1, so I can't really show you what I'm doing. But this hose right here goes into the fill hole on the transmission, and you just kind of, pump this thing up and down, forces the fluid in. Bob's your uncle. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that with these 2 quarts or liters. It's gonna take a while. and pick you guys up when I get it full. I realize this is not how you're supposed to wear these lights, but I can figure out how to turn these off. I was like, got you on. Yeah, I'm under the car, and we got the oil in it through the pump. I'll show you where it goes. I feel like I'm splunking right now under my car. All right, well, there's not a lot of room, but that's the fill hole on the transmission under the car here. The tip I was using fell off. It's on the ground now. Luckily, we got the 2 liters of fluid in the transmission. So now I can put that fill plug back in, and I can lower the car back down to try to see if I can't get this cooling system full of coolant so that I can drive this thing. I really don't want to put this on the trailer to get it to the repair shop, so we're gonna figure this out. I wonder if Tony's got any good water at the house. You know, not like tap water, but purified water, because I think I'm putting distilled or purified water in this radiator currently. And I'd like to not put the stuff that drained out of the radiator back in the car, which is delicious looking. This stuff. It's weird sludge in the bottom, which is concerning, because the engine had orange coolant in it, and the car had green in it. So I'm trying not to mix the flavors together. And also down here, I'm gonna zip tie these wires out of the way. That's just for the catalytic converter that is plugged. So we're gonna figure that one out later. It's gonna be a little noisy driving it. Whee, hello, exhaust. So get that guy up out of the way there. This guy over here somewhere out of the way. I'll zip tie it here. I think that's where it was. I don't know where the heck this goes, but the end's been ripped off and fixed before. So, good times. All right, the MEEP's out of the garage, finally. I know Tony's very happy about that. So, we're gonna try to drive this to the repair shop about 10 miles. We'll see what happens. Trying to bleed the cooling system one last time before leaving. But the thermostat in this car never opens. Put a brand new thermostat in it. It's going to be a little noisy since the exhaust is kind of not on the car either. Alright. Got some water out of there, another big air bubble out. I'll bleed it on the road if it gets hot. But we got gauges. So we're doing good. Oil pressure's sitting good about 30 right now. See what we can do. Well, we're moving. Temps are staying good. I don't know how fast I'm going because the speedometer now decided not to work. Cool. It is all over the road. Woo! It's very noisy in here, but I'm very happy. We're holding on to 55, 60 miles an hour. The steering is way off, but we're doing it. 2 miles away from the repair shop to drop it off to get the alignment. No name nationals, here we go. All right, she made it. Time to get the alignment, pick it up tomorrow. Well, good morning, everybody. It is loud in here still, since the exhaust is kind of right underneath my butt where it ends, maybe a little bit before that. So we're gonna be driving the MEEP now that it's good to go over to Tony's house today. Hopefully for the last time he's gonna see this car for a little while. We're gonna get the exhaust on the car, weld some new hangers in because those all broke. That's part of the reason the exhaust was really vibrating under the car. And then get it back home and clean it out. I've got parts everywhere in here, all over the floors. Check this out. I've literally cleaned nothing out of this thing since I accidentally killed it up in the UP. I've got rocks from the Upper Peninsula. I've got water still in here. Shoot, I think all my fishing gear is still in here. And just random parts everywhere. The speedometer still isn't working up there. Not sure why. I've checked all the plugs on the inverter down here and stuff like that. Let's see, where is... Yeah, because I can't get any power to the inverter. I don't know. So I'll have to dig into the cigarette lighter situation that's down behind everything. Maybe it's just a fuse, I don't know. But at worst, I'll be at Tony's. I'll just run some wiring up through the firewall and at least get some power in here so I can have some illumination in these gauges, which I'd like to have for, you know, driving purposes, since it'll be a daily again. So let's head to Tony's, get this figured out. All right, we're back at Tony's house, and the MEEP is on the lift. On my drive to his house, the shifter cable popped off, which I knew that was probably gonna happen. My fix for that is spot on. Amazing. I'll show you guys that when the car comes back down, as I'm choking over here. So the exhaust has this cross member right here that has two little studs that are welded to the tubing there. As you can see, that's not a real Mini Cooper exhaust. It's half Mini Cooper, half Chevy pickup, and part store muffler. That was just a last minute fix because the mufflers we were running were off a motorcycle. Those blew out the baffles, so we had to come up with something quick. So yeah, back to this guy. This is a piece of tubing. We're going to slide through the mounting holes that are down here and weld that to the exhaust once it's back on the car. However, we are fighting getting the studs out of here. So yeah, as you can see, this stud right here is stuck in place. We ground off the backside on both of them, which to no avail, did not help. So Tony's walking up to the house to get a torch, and we're gonna torch it, see if that helps, and if not, maybe drill it out, who knows. Then we're gonna run to the auto parts store, grab some hangers, and something else. Oh, I'll grab the welder so we can weld this together. And I can start trying to drive this home or back and forth to work, but I also need to figure out the cigarette lighter situation on why I have no power to the speedometer and to the inverter. All right, we're back at Tony's. We went to the hardware store and the auto parts store and whatnot. But to add to the random list of parts on the car other than 2x4, self-tapping screws, license plates, and a lot of other things, we're gonna have PVC pipe now for the air intake. As I was telling you earlier, my ingenuity knows no bounds when it comes to fixing things. So there's my fix for the shift linkage. So hopefully that holds together. If not, I'm gonna have to buy new shift cables, which is gonna suck because it doesn't look like a lot of fun to put in. So here's the PVC pipe. I do gotta clean all this stuff off, but now it'll fit inside there as I drop stuff inside of it. And it'll sit off to the side here so we can run our cold air intake. That's just kind of been wedged in there the entire time. And for some reason, now it won't line up. I think it's because this valve cover is different than the old one, and this tube was off on the side last time. So yeah. So we're gonna do that, lift the car up, because all the exhaust is laying over there, and do something. All right, the MEEP is out of Tony's garage once again with exhaust on it. I did find a leaking coolant hose from the bottom of the radiator, put an extra hose clamp on it, seemed to take care of the issue. Also figured out where the O2 sensor wire went. So we're in neutral, turn the key. Ooh, it's so much quieter. And the speedometer works again, because it turns out it just unplugged itself. So yeah. Oh, Tony's playing with fire. Giant cicada killers are swarming his barn, so. So yeah, my PVC intake is working pretty good, and so is the O2 sensor by the sounds of it. Check engine light, ABS, and brake light, those are all normal to be on. It's kind of weird the brake light is on, but oh well. We have warning lights for days in here. So yeah, we have a working speedometer now, so that's great. But we're gonna drive it home and see how she handles. Well, good news, the MEEP made it home. There is some squealing noises coming from the brakes, but that's to be expected for a car that was sitting outside for about a month of the month and a half time it was broke down. So I'm gonna call that a win. Didn't get hot all the way home. Checked the cooling system. Everything was functioning correctly. So I'm gonna call that a win. Unfortunately, the Jurassic Park sticker fell off the other side of the car. Just sitting outside because I'm poor at my paint skills. I don't prep anything correctly. I just shoot paint on top of paint, you know. Just do what I feel like, really. So we're going to probably repaint the car for No Name Nationals. What are we gonna do? I don't know. We'll find out. We have a lot of paint here. I want to keep it Jurassic Park, you know, because it is Jurassic Park Jeep and we are in the Jurassic Park motor pool. But at the same time, we'll change it for No Name Nationals and possibly go back to Jurassic Park when we're done. Do the Explorer theme next on it? We'll figure it out. So, you guys have a good one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. And probably see some of you guys at No Name Nationals.